Yes, let me welcome you to Uganda House, the party headquarters. And I am joined by the gallant team of UPC members of parliament in the 12th Parliament of Uganda. I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank and congratulate my members of parliament for representing the Uganda People's Congress. Before I go there, let me also extend the congratulations to the Right Honorable both and the Right Honorable Thomas Taebwa in their role as Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 12th Parliament. The important issue here today is that Uganda People's Congress, despite what President Museveni said, we are a distinct and different entity from the NRM. And that is why, if we talk about alliances or the like, UPC should have a right to field its own candidate in any race it so chooses. We are not subject to guidance or direction from another party. NRM have their guidance or their headquarters on Chadondo Road. Uganda People's Congress is on Kampala Road, number 10 Kampala Road, and that is why we are here. We are a different entity. So even if the president wants to talk about an alliance, as far as I'm concerned, does not mean I cannot field a candidate. And when I choose to field a candidate, I will field my candidate and I'll support my candidate. And I do not need permission to do so. And that is something which often we're not, or the president does not seem to appreciate, that we are different entities. Uganda People's Congress, all of my members here competed against NRM. In the 4 terms I've served in this Parliament of Uganda, I competed against NRM. I have no problem with competition. And democracy entails that we compete. That is when we have a product which is worthy for the citizens of Uganda. So, I thank the team for nominating Honorable Sarah and for standing up for carrying the party flag and for going and representing us, that to make it clear that we are not the same thing. We are all Ugandans seeking for a future for Uganda, but we're different entities. I speak only for the Uganda People's Congress. I cannot speak for NRM. I cannot speak for NUP. I cannot speak for FDC. I cannot speak for PFF. I cannot speak for ANT or DP. Mine is the Uganda People's Congress, and that is all I will speak for. So, further to what the president said, as Uganda People's Congress, we'll welcome constructive engagement. We are not shy to sit down on the table and discuss matters which affect the people of Uganda and put forward our position as to how we feel Uganda should move ahead. In line with that one, as Uganda People's Congress, I sent a framework on which we hope to have discussions, serious, sober discussions, which recognize us as separate entities and have our own right to field our candidates or present our own views. At the same time, I presented to, I would say, the NRM and the president, an alternative policy position dealing with housing. I know I did not get a chance to present it during the campaign, so I presented it, and I'm going to share it with you, members of the press and the country at large. This is the UPC thinking on how we can tackle a deficit. The housing deficit by UBOS survey is 2.4 million houses. That is the housing deficit in Uganda today. The current expected figures, we're constructing about 60,000 housing units per year. In other words, we are not meeting the needs which are there, and also the gap which is growing. I think we require about 300,000 new houses per year, and there's a gap of already 2.4 million houses. So as UPC, we are a party of ideas, and a party which is trying to sort problems which affect the citizens of Uganda. So as UPC, on our own basis, we have presented a formula or a framework which is targeting income earners, earning basically from roughly 700,000, 1 million per month, to be able to own a house in 7 years. And for me, it is the maths. I want anybody the president, his team, to challenge us on the mathematics, on the policy. I could be standing here and lying that I've got a program which can house the people of Uganda. Test it. That is what we're supposed to do in a campaign. We're supposed to go out there and present ideas, alternative ideas. So to make it very clear that UPC and NRM are different entities, the UPC program, I am going to share it. I've shared it with those who are in power. I've shared it with the NRM. I'm also going to share it with the public of Uganda. And you are free to judge, to say whether AKENA is talking nonsense or AKENA has sense. In my understanding, the UPC program is better than any other program in Uganda today. That is on the question of housing. On the question of education, UPC program is better. On the question of health, UPC program is better. But what I'm presenting today, and I'm going to share the documentation, is a program which gives people opportunity to own houses. Those in the range who are earning 1 million, 2 million, somebody to have an opportunity. I'm looking at the teachers, I'm looking at the nurses, I'm looking at those who really make our society work, to have an opportunity to own a house or a property in Uganda. That is the UPC which presents itself to this country. We don't talk in abstract, we talk in reality. But test my ideas. If I'm talking nonsense, rubbish them. If it's making sense, treat me with the respect it deserves, because we have taken time to develop policy ideas for the people of Uganda. Being Team Uganda is different from saying NRM. All of us are Ugandans. We want to reach a better Uganda, but I have a different way of reaching there. I believe in my ideas. I have a team which I stand with, I have stood with, and we have the same notion of where we come from, what Uganda should be. And so I tell the president, I welcome discussion, but let's have an honest discussion. This issue of alliance, and then you don't want other people to field candidates, that one is not going to work. We are all Ugandans, we have different ideas, and I believe in the UPC ideas. So before I end here and take questions, we're coming to the Eid. I wish we all enjoy our Eid without, anyway, let me go. I'm wishing all Ugandans a wonderful Eid. I thank my team once again for standing firm and to be clear that Uganda People's Congress is not the NRM, and NRM is not Uganda People's Congress. I thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing up that question. As things stand now, there is no written document which defines the relationship between Uganda People's Congress and NRM. We have had what you may call a loose working alliance, which was informed by what we're coming through. Going forward, we are presenting it to be clearly laid out that if we're supposed to cooperate, if we're supposed to have an alliance, the ingredients of the alliance. And for me, the question of fielding candidates is not something which is negotiable. We have gone through a difficult issue. UPC needed to field its candidate with its own program. We were denied that opportunity. So UPC must field its own candidates if there's supposed to be an alliance. If the alliance assumes that we cannot field candidates, that is not alliance, that's subjugation. I am not into politics of subjugation. I am ready to speak my truth honestly and openly, because I believe I have something to contribute to this country, and hence I'm ready to engage. So as it stands now, there is no written document, but we are preparing to have an honest discussion. But what I said even before the campaigns was, I am going to tackle this question on a policy perspective. What I'm going to be doing, and what my members I hope will be doing on the floor of Parliament, is to give an alternative policy perspective of UPC for the problems which the people of Uganda face. So in any context, whatever the problem comes, we are giving our perspective that if UPC was in government, this is what we will do. And that's why I'm saying that if UPC was in government, we would be able to open up the housing to thousands, hundreds of thousands of Ugandans through the program I have presented, or I'm going to present as a document. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Raymond Tamale. Just first, starting from both and Diego.
Yes.
They are assuming a parliament which you've been part of before. What's your perspective about the former parliament in regards to corruption? Because from the comments of the current speaker, he says, I know the room, I have the rooms, I know the rules, and it doesn't take me a day or even an hour to know where the loopholes are. In regards to corruption, what do you think needs to be done by them? And then speaking about the housing gypsy, you gave us the figure that you want to, people are looking at the bracket, 700,000 to 1 million shillings, but what's the plan countrywide? Are you going to give them mortgages? Are you going to look at their salaries? Because right now what you face is that people don't have jobs.
Okay, thank you. The 11th Parliament was plagued by corruption, and I have been open on it. I have also, I penned a prayer against corruption in Parliament and hope for a Parliament that allows the voice of the citizens of Uganda to come through. So I have not supported the corruption. One of the issues which I've raised repeatedly is that I've been on the National Economic Committee. We failed to present the indebtedness of Uganda even once. We could not present it. But when it's a loan, it does not take very quick to ask for a loan. They ask for the report. But the indebtedness is not there. That is in itself, for me, is corruption, because we are not giving the true picture of where things are and where we hope things to be. So corruption has been there. And it was expected that from the signals which came from Chankwanzi, when he talked about the leadership and questions of corruption, I've been a backbencher. Backbenchers, you don't really have a chance for corruption. But the leadership and things like that, yes, can be affected. So I am glad that some action has been taken, but I am not yet satisfied. This is the first step there. I know both Oboth and Taebwa. We have served in Parliament. We have a good relationship. Hence, I have congratulated them, and I hope they'll rise to the role and look at their role as heading the National Assembly of Uganda. I think our former speaker had narrowed it that she had become an activist, and this is an office which is supposed to support NRM. NRM is a subset of Uganda. Well, Speaker of the Parliament, you are a Speaker of the National Assembly of Uganda. All the Ugandans fall within that one. If you come to the gate of Parliament, you see the communities which came together and agreed to form this country which you call Uganda. So you're the Speaker of that. It's a higher office than a political activist supporting a political entity. And it's not going to be, it's the Speaker of the 12th Parliament. There have been parliaments before, there will be parliaments after. I hope that they will be able to handle their role with that view that you are Speaker of the National Assembly of Uganda. It's a very important role. Handle it with a responsibility, with a decorum and understanding. I think both of those members, I have known them, are capable of handling that office. That does not change the issue about UPC having our own points of view. I hope we'll have our opportunity, and these members will give our members a chance to articulate what we believe Uganda should be. Because I believe, and I honestly know that the Ugandan vision is far better than any other which is presentable. So on the question of the housing, I am looking at modular housing, which is basically container-based, and this is targeting people who have jobs. Unfortunately, yes, there are many people who do not have jobs, but the ones who have jobs, there are many who are renting, and they get into this cycle where they do not own a property at the end of the day. So I'm targeting those who have jobs, because you cannot have a program where there's something from nothing. In the reality of economics, there is nothing for nothing. But this is an attainable way, a feasible way in which somebody can actually own property and become the property or the asset profile will improve in that. And the people we've targeted, especially like the teachers, the nurses, the policemen, the soldiers, these are the people who, one, they're very mobile. They can be posted in any part of the country. At the same time, they also need housing. If you go around, you look at the teachers' housing in various schools, you look at police housing, look at the army housing, these are the sort of people who we're tackling. but not to be in a government house, but to own. At the end of the day, they own their own property. So that is the vision which UPC has been able to present. And the figures will be available for anybody to cross-check and to show us whether we know what we're doing or we don't.